Yo, what is up guys? It is Bumfris, back with episode 50 of our Reddit series. This one's going to be some more entitled parents, and I know you're going to love this one. I cannot believe we're at episode 50 already, and a preemptive thank you for 200,000 subscribers. We are so close, and I cannot thank every single one of you who watch my videos enough. You're all incredible, and thank you so much. Now sit back, relax, and get annoyed at some entitled parents. Okay, so I wasn't here for this, but my mum's friend has a little boy who's about 5 or 6 years old, and he gets change for pocket money when he does chores, as any normal kid would. So at one point, he'd saved up about $10, enough to buy a toy he's wanted for ages. I can't remember what it was, maybe walkie-talkies? So his mum, who's my mum's friend, took him to the shops to buy his toy, and he's excited as hell, grinning like it's Christmas as you'd expect. He finds the toy and joins the queue to pay for it. But at some point, he trips and drops all of his coins. Lots of silver, so $10 was like 30 plus coins. And a pair of other little kids start picking them up along with him, which my mum's friend assumes is very sweet because they're being helpful. But once all of the coins are collected, the two little kids are laughing and stuffing the coins into their pockets. My mum's friend looks around and manages to find their witch of an entitled mother, and after explaining the situation, expects the mother to tell the kids to give the money back. But nope. She literally laughs and says, well, you know, finders keepers. Now, at the time, she was too flustered to think to ask for security, but her poor son is in tears because the little devils took more than half of his money and now he can't afford his toy. So my mum's friend obviously pays for the toy for him and brings him home. But on the way out, she heard the entitled mum whispering to her kids, "So how much did you get?" as the kids counted the stolen coins. Obviously, when my mum told me this story, I immediately suggested that her friend goes to the store and asks for witnesses or security tapes, etc. But I don't think she ever did. Entitled mother, I hope you're burning in hell and your children are being raised by better parents now. I don't really think I need to say anything for this one. It looks like OP's already beaten me to the trick of saying something after the post. You all know I can't go without giving my 2 cents though, so I hope something like this happens to this lady one day and she realizes just how bad of a parent she is. So we all know those people who get up at 6 AM and go down to the poolside at hotels and put their towels on the sunbeds to reserve them. Fair enough, but sometimes people take it too far. A couple of years ago, I was on a holiday with friends in Spain. Lovely place. We were staying at a fairly large hotel at the prime time of summer. People everywhere. We followed the rules of going down early to reserve sunbeds and lay our 2 towels across them along with everyone else. Also staying at this hotel was a loud American family. Sorry, I know you're not all like this US friends. 2 parents, 2 grandparents, and 5 kids, so 9 of them in total. They would also come down and place their towels down. Every single day, they would put their towels down. Then as the sun moved along, they would ask people to move so they could lie in the sun. Keep in mind, there is 9 of them, so that's like moving 3 groups of people if they wanted to swap. They would complain loudly, basically blocking the sun, standing over them, asking them to move until the people would finally give up just to shut them all up. The security in this place was pretty crap, so nobody's complaints got very far. On the Sunday morning before we had to leave back to the rainy UK, we come down around 7 AM to put our towels and we see most are taken. Okay, weird, we usually put ours in the same spot, but I guess we were late and chose another spot. We like to read, so chose a shaded spot for most of the day. My friend is also redhead, so she turns into a lobster when she's in the sun. We come down to the pool in the afternoon and see a lot of the sunbeds are empty. As the day goes on, we see this family move from spot to spot as the sun moves and shades their current spot. The family used the complimentary towels that were in the lobby and reserved about 40 sun lounges around the pool. People quickly realized what they were doing and moved their towels. This sent the family into a spit of rage, literally screaming as loudly as they could how disgusting people can be. Also throwing in the odd racist comment to some local Spanish girls sunbathing, how they don't need any more sun. They claimed their kids had a special medical condition that required them to be in the sun for X amount of hours per day. Keep in mind that the kids spent most of the day in the pool, loudly shouting and being a general sore on the place. When the hotel security heard these racist comments though, the line had been crossed. They were promptly removed from the premises and all local hotels in the area were called and warned about the family. I hope they all got burnt. You know, it really sucks that people like this give Americans a bad name. I've been to America a lot and met some absolutely lovely people that are so willing to help you, and it just is horrible to think that these people are tainting the entire reputation. To be fair though, I don't think any country is going to like tourists coming into their country and acting like this regardless, so maybe it doesn't matter where you're from. My partner and I purchased the house next door to my best friend. I'd lived with him for close to a decade when his kids were babies, so they viewed my house as an extension of theirs, and we were in and out all day, every day. I have a more flexible schedule than he and his wife, so I have them in the mornings after school and on days off of school. I had a pool in my yard, and because my friend's kids were still little, I installed a retractable cover and made sure it was locked so they couldn't open it. My friend's yard had one of those wood fort climbing wall swing set deals and a large sandbox. Throughout the year, we spent most evenings outside grilling, drinking, and watching the kids play, swim, or whatever. One summer day, I came home from work a little earlier than normal and started to prep for dinner. I heard a knock at my back door, which was odd since my buddy's kids never knocked. I went to see who it was and discovered a mum and 2 kids who looked maybe 5 to 7 years old. As I opened the door, she informs me that her kids needed to use the bathroom and that I needed to come out and get the cover off my pool. I was confused and asked her to repeat herself, and she said that her kids needed to pee and that they were hot and bored with playing in the sandbox, so I needed to open up my pool. I asked her why she was in my friend's yard and what made her think that her kids were welcome to swim in my pool or use my bathroom for that matter. She got really uptight and told me that she had moved into the house behind us and that she had watched my buddy's kids come over all the time and I opened the pool for them. She insisted that since I was willing to open my pool for the kids next door, I should also open it for the children who lived behind me. I tried explaining the relationship between my best friend's family and mine, and she claimed it didn't matter that I'd known them since birth and had pretty much helped raise them. I just needed to get to know her kids too, and it would be okay. I told her no and closed the door on her. She spent a while knocking and fussing at me through the window and then had her kids pee in a planter on the side of the patio. When I still didn't react, she took her kids back into my friend's yard to play on the swings. I texted him to let him know what was going on, right at the moment he was letting his 300+ pounds worth of newfies out into the yard without noticing the unwelcome visitors. The mum starts shrieking and climbing up into the fort, leaving both kids on the swings. She starts demanding that we put the dogs inside, and how dare my friend let his dogs out into his own yard when her kids are clearly playing there. He tells her to GTFO and calls the police. When the cops arrived, she put on a whole waterworks about how her kids are just looking for friends and my buddy's kids are somehow bullying her kids, even though they'd never met. That he invited her over just to let his dogs attack her children, blah blah blah. They eventually move her back to her own property, then come back later to tell us they warned her about coming back. She lived in that house for almost a year before she and her husband divorced. During that year, I had to replace the lock over the pool cover controls 3 times, have a fencing company remove a gate at the back of my property that was meant to let the lawnmower through, and eventually pay a security company to come check on my yard anytime we were going to be away for more than a few hours. We found her and her kids in our yards repeatedly, but she'd leave when we got home. What finally resolved the issue was my partner catching her in the pool. She told him she knew the man that owned the house and that he told her it was okay to swim. He told her that he was married to the man that owned the pool and that it's not okay to swim. She apparently had a bad reaction to realizing she was immersing her sons in gay water. We didn't see her again after that. It's sad that's what it took to get rid of her, but I mean, at least it's a comedic way to end the story. These are the types of stories that I love with entitled parents, because they're not just a parent who thinks they're going to steal someone's Nintendo Switch, they're literally thinking that they're entitled to use someone else's facilities or something like that, just because they're a parent. Probably one of my favorite entitled parent stories so far, and at least these guys managed to get rid of her without too much hassle. My sister-in-law and I are like sisters. Her birthday was in November and she'd also gotten a huge job promotion around that time, so I wanted to get her a nice gift. I got her her first pair of Louboutins. She was ecstatic and showed them to everyone. One of her friends has an older sister, who's the entitled mum, with a teenage daughter. Sissy is friends with both of them, but much closer to F than entitled mum. Sissy had her friend and the entitled mum over and they brought the kid. Sissy shows them the shoes and they admire them. The kid loves the shoes. She is obsessed with them just because of the brand. The kid goes on about how beautiful they are, how she's always wanted a pair, and how nicely they would pair with her dress for her upcoming school winter dance. The entitled mum agreed and they both kept hinting for the entire duration of their visit. The kid eventually flat out asks Sissy to borrow the shoes despite them being a size too small. For anyone who doesn't know about Louboutins, they are quite uncomfortable. They are narrow, take a while to break in, and are painful when you're doing a lot of movement. Don't even think about wearing a size too small. Sissy explains all of this to her and advises her against it, but the kid insists she'll be fine because, and I quote, "I have always wanted a pair of red bottoms." Now, my sissy is very kind and has a hard time saying no, so she agrees to let her borrow them. She wanted to make the kid feel pretty. Keep in mind that Sissy hasn't even worn these shoes. The kid takes the shoes and is all good until the day after the dance. The entitled mum calls my sister fuming. The kid had worn the shoes but had been in so much pain that she had to sit out for most of the time. She even got blisters that started bleeding and called her mum to pick her up early. Turns out that the kid hadn't broken the shoes in, shoved her big foot into a size too small shoes, and then tried to dance with them. The entitled mum complained that Sissy had given her a defective pair and she ruined her angel's night, she was a jealous, vindictive woman, etc. The entitled mum flies off the handle and says that the kid shouldn't have to give it back because she thought Sissy had given the shoes to her. Yes, because she would totally give your brat a brand new pair of $700 shoes. But Sissy insists. I wish I could say the entitled mum stole her Switch, destroyed her laptop, burnt her house down and was arrested and imprisoned for 300 years, but she ended up giving the shoes back to my sister's friend who gave it back to her. Don't you love it when people who you think are your friends try and take advantage of you? I know I sure do. One thing's for sure though, if I was this lady, this person would be out of my friendship circle as fast as I could click my fingers. Who has time for ungrateful friends who try and use you for everything you've got? Alright everyone, that is that for today's episode of Entitled Parents. I just want to start off by saying thank you so much for watching and I hope you enjoyed the video. By the time this is uploaded, I'm probably a few subscribers preemptive, but I just want to say thank you so much for 200,000 subscribers in advance. You are all incredible and I cannot thank every single one of you for watching my videos enough. You are all actually so incredible and I cannot express the smile that is on my face every single day when I wake up to comments and likes on my videos. It is an amazing feeling and I cannot even explain it. But again, thank you so much. I love each and every one of you and I really cannot express how much I appreciate it. Also, thank you for all the birthday wishes today. It was my 22nd birthday and I got an incredible amount of comments and messages and it really warmed my heart, so thank you so much. But otherwise, that is that for today's episode of Entitled Parents. I just want to say again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you're all having a fantastic day and I'll see you all tomorrow for another Reddit video. Bye.